Good Times was a show that was airing in the 1970s, and the main gist that I get from it is that it was a nostalgic show. At the very least, it gave people some fond memories. But at the core of it, the writing was bad, the comedy was bad, and it was not the best show of all time. So it's a little bit odd that 50 years later, somebody would walk into Netflix and be like, Sir, I have an idea. The Netflix executive would walk up to him, and the only thing he could do, the only thing he could even muster upon hearing the word idea is this. You know, because Netflix is just willing to take anything, no matter how trash it may be. What's that? A show from 50 years ago that didn't do that good? Good Times, you say? Well, I love that idea. Let's call it Good Times Black Again. Yeah, that's the genuine title of it. It doesn't really scream confidence to me, but they decided to reboot and revive a show that was 50 years old that already wasn't really that good, now with the form of animation, the new medium to take this show to new heights. That's why it only got one season, that's why it was canceled, and that's why nobody talks about it, and I guarantee you 90% of the people who click on this video have never even remotely heard of it. But I decided to give it a good old-fashioned chance to see if it could wow me, to see if it could give me something to cling on to. And in this case, it really didn't. I decided to take a look at one of the best episodes in the series, Big Sister is Watching, and I don't know what it is about animators being obsessed when they're making an adult animated show to make it look so unbelievably awful. I don't know why all the lines have to be super in detail, but all the characters have to look like fat, ugly pigs. It's like they just went out onto the street, found somebody who's just slumped over like, and then we're just like, would you like to animate for our show? And then they walk in and they produce this garbage because half of it looks like ass, and then the other half is actually doing a really interesting comic book like style during all of the fight scenes, which I really enjoy. The main problem I have with that though is I feel like that's episode exclusive just to this one because this is kind of a superhero episode, and that makes me unbelievably sad. The next glaring problem with this show is that it juggles not one, not two, not three, but 4 different plot lines all going at the same time, and only one of them is really interesting. Another one becomes interesting because it merges with the interesting plotline. Everything else is just complete and utter dog shit and doesn't really scream entertainment, doesn't really scream comedy. It just makes me want to suffer and want to rip my eyes out. The episode opens with a character named Beverly talking with the owner of one of these buildings who installs a bunch of surveillance cameras, and Beverly is a completely and utterly useless character in every single way in this episode. She has the initial plot of seeing all the cameras, and then she makes her daughter, Gray, be the one who has to watch all the cameras. And then what is the wonderful thing they decide to do with her character for the rest of the episode? Oh, gee whiz, what's gonna be really entertaining? Oh, she spots her friend with another friend who starts throwing voluptuous ass, shaking it violently, so she's now jealous of her friend hanging out with another person. So for probably 8 minutes of the episode, we have to deal with her spying on them, watching them, and then having a 2-minute conversation about, oh girl, I just miss you. Like, I just miss you so much. Like, let's just hang out again. You're always so busy. Like, it's just boring, especially compared to everything else going on. Like, why am I going to sit there and want to watch these aspects of the episode when there is a crime-fighting chicken on the other side of the episode that shakes his ass vigorously, thickly, is animated extremely well, and shoots giant, voluptuous, poopy eggs at people in a combative way? Yes, that genuinely does happen. We'll get into that in a minute. It's just that entire aspect of the plot is really unnecessary. We cut to Junior in the episode, who is the son of Reggie and Beverly. And he comes home and he's like, hey dad, and his dad looks him dead in the eye. He's like, I got you a job, son. You know I'm not making enough money anymore. My taxi isn't working, so I'm gonna send you to work. And so Junior, he has to go to work. He's working at a chicken restaurant. He's opening a box and he sees a raw chicken staring up at him like a brand new man, staring at him like a fresh little boy. And so the chicken starts violently attacking him, and it's actually a really great scene. It switches over to a slightly better animation style as he's fighting with this naked, featherless chicken who is beating the ever-living shit out of him. He grabs the chicken and throws it into a vat. but he gets bit, giving him his Peter Parker type arc, becoming Spider-Man, but something a little bit different, and I thought that was so unbelievably great. We then cut back to Reggie, who is Junior's father. He is sitting at home, and Beverly drops off the baby, whose name is Dalvin, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because Seth MacFarlane is a producer on the show, but why is there such an innate desire in adult animated shows to get a fifth member of the family who's a little bit kooky, a little bit crazy? Oh my god, it's a baby, but the baby's a drug dealer and could have just been a totally normal, like, 16-year-old son type character, but we made him a baby, and he doesn't actually have any baby qualities that make him an interesting character or make him want to do anything. It's just basically Stewie Griffin, but a lot worse. Yay! How exciting! So yeah, there's a drug dealing baby who shows up on the doorstep and Reggie has to take care of him, and this is also a very uninteresting plotline. The introduction scene of it was really good because once again, switches that animation style and we get a fight between the baby and the dad going against each other where Dalvin reaches out to touch his father's pickle. That might not be the best way to phrase that. He reaches out to steal a nibble from his father's sandwich, which leads to a brawl where Dalvin jumps up, is beating the shit out of him, says that he's gonna be the one needing diapers.
Your diaper days are approaching, old man.
And they just have a really awesome fight that starts their arc in the episode, I guess, but everything after this fight is just unbelievably boring. I'm not really even remotely a fan of it, but either way, we then cut to Gray, who is watching people on the security cameras, and this entire scene was actually quite frightening in a way, where Junior, he gets off work and he starts getting beat up by police who are faking and saying that he assaulted a police officer, but right before this, the cops were shaking a lot of ass on their cop car, like twerking.
No, but I do have this.
Oh, shit.
I don't really know why. Perhaps they wanted to prepare for their show. They were going to go home, get into their cuck chair. Their wives were going to be getting plowed by another man. And while they're in the cuck chair, they just like to throw it back to give a little bit of a show. I don't know why they were doing it. This show also likes to put a heavy emphasis whenever there's ass being thrown. I don't really know why, but hey, I mean, to each their own. If that's what they really want to focus the budget on, I'm not going to judge. So they do that. Gray sees this, shows up, and threatens to show the video of them twerking, shaking all them things, and so they run away scared because they don't want to end up on Black Twitter. I personally don't necessarily understand the implications of that, but okay, Junior is saved, and Gray goes back to watching everything on the security cameras. And so Junior's now walking through this alleyway, and he sees a guy getting mugged, and it's kind of one of the stupidest scenes I've ever seen because he doesn't even know that he has powers yet. He just like sees this guy getting mugged and walks into the alley of these guys with guns, and he's like, "Hey guys, I don't really think you should be robbing people. I don't think it would be good for the economy," as he's sweating and perspirating. It's just a little bit odd. I mean, I don't know. Were you just accepting death, wanting death? There's not really another move you can make here, especially if they just turn around and shoot you. So they turn around, they start beating him up, and that's when he turns into the Mother Clucker. Yes, a giant, buff, ripped jack chicken superhero who just beats the ever-living shit out of all forms of crime.
Cluck. See what I did there?
And I genuinely think that's the best part of the episode. I think it's so unbelievably fun, but everything else just slowly starts slipping for me. In every way. We cut back to Dalvin and Reggie, who are hanging out, and they start gambling together, and then we get like a kawaii yaoi scene where Reggie calls him son, and they like start blushing at each other going, "Did you just call me son?"
Did you just call me son? I did, didn't I? Huh.
And I don't know. I know it's not the implication that they're gonna start like incesting each other or anything, cause incest is fucking weird, but I don't know why they have to make them blush at each other in a very odd and weird way. I didn't really like that, and that's pretty much what they do for the next 10 minutes before eventually betraying each other, and Dalvin strips his dad's car, and that plotline's over. Ultimately, again, a very pointless plotline that I didn't really care for. I would rather just get back to the Mother Clucker, because on his next fight scene, we get a very cool animation where he literally just like shits a egg in such a way that his entire cheeks just like shake. It's like a 9.0 magnitude earthquake up in here as they just violently poop out an egg at his enemies, and it is one of the most unique things I've ever seen. They even have the audacity to point out that a male rooster, a male chicken, would not be making the eggs, but either way, it doesn't matter because it's still so goddamn entertaining. I absolutely loved it. And so Gray is slowly becoming a villain because of all of her surveillance, so the Mother Clucker eventually has to go and fight him, and we get this Gray scene where he's climbing up a tower, just more aggressive, incredibly animated, just delivering eggs in such a voluptuous manner. As he eventually gets up to his sister, we get a final boss battle, which was also really good, where the Mother Clucker ends up winning, and that's pretty much everything that really matters within this episode. Again, I really only liked the prospect of the Mother Clucker. I liked the final battle. I liked all the fight scenes, but I feel like all the animation that was good was just exclusive to this one episode. I feel like once you get out of this, it's just going to be that normal garbage animation the entire time, which is a big problem for the show. Also, having a runtime of 25 minutes is a huge hindrance to the overall enjoyment because you have an amazing plotline like the Mother Clucker plotline, which probably could have been resolved in about 15 minutes, and then just, adding up, just stuffing up your bra with a bunch of just filler stuff just kind of cuts all of the tension within the episode. Like, I don't care about Beverly being all like, oh, why is my best friend leaving me for a woman who's as huge as Lizzo in her prime? Why are they shaking their asses without me? Like, it's just really lame when you go from really good animation, some awesome fight scenes, and a really well-told story with honestly really good comedy to scenes like that. I just don't enjoy that. If they would have decided to extend the season to maybe 15 episodes, 20 episodes, and focused on smaller, shorter stories, I feel like it would have been received a lot better because then you have a focus on the type of vibe of the episode. Because if you focused everything on Beverly's story, maybe I would have liked it a lot more if it was just all about her, and you could have built the character up a lot more, built the friendship up a lot more, added more jokes to those scenes, because when you have a awesome, plot about a Mother Clucker, it's going to be making every single other plot in the episode kind of feel irrelevant, especially when there's 3 other plots. It's just kind of odd, to say the least, to make the episode go on for that long. But overall, if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 4 out of 10, and that's mainly only for 2 of the plot lines. I didn't really care much for Gray's plotline until it merged with the Mother Clucker plotline, and everything that was going on there was really entertaining. I liked all the fight scenes, I liked the thick ass shooting out those goddamn eggs. It was overall really entertaining, but the other 2 plot lines, they were just not that good, especially when every single character is just an over-exaggerated stereotype. They can't win with every single scene when they do that. Obviously, some scenes are going to be funnier than others, but the majority of the scenes I just found boring and overplayed. Taking a look at the episode Meet the Evans of New, this episode doesn't have anything good about it. It's the worst episode in the series. It's actually the first episode in the series as well, which kind of just screams that everybody probably got 5 minutes into this shit and then never watched it again, hence the cancellation, because oh my god, this is so awful. Compared to the best episode that I watched, which actually felt like it had a little bit of passion, and they actually gave the animators a little bit of leeway to explore, experiment, and make something unique, here, it's just complete and utter garbage in every conceivable way. They decide to take away any of the unique animation. There's no more of a comic book style. It's just, alright guys, what can we do to entertain the folk? Let's have these stereotypical characters do their stereotypical stuff for 25 minutes and have one interesting scene in the entire episode. The episode focuses on Beverly really wanting to win this competition about having the cleanest home. And how do they explore that? Well, the first 3 minutes of the episode, they're talking about Spam and how good Spam is and how they really like Spam. And then the daughter views Spam as a pink racist meat.
What have I told you about protesting before breakfast?
Spam is not breakfast. It's a pink racist meat designed in a lab by a pink racist.
So her plotline is the fact that she's no longer going to eat for the episode. Do they decide to do anything interesting with this plotline? Have some scenes where perhaps she's hallucinating, talking to talking food, going through it? Perhaps she has an awesome combative battle against Spam from a can? No, she just starves for a while. There's a thrilling scene where she stares at cornbread and goes, I bet that would be delicious. Really? You haven't eaten in a while and you think cornbread might be good? Well, shiver my timbers. Oh God, that's funny. That's a knee slapper. Yeah, so for 22 minutes she's starving and does ultimately nothing for the entire plot, aside from have flies flying around her, just doing their silly little fly thing. Not really about that. At the same time, Dalvin, yes, the drug-dealing baby's at it again, is dealing outside on the street. Is he going to be having some kind of interesting relevance to the show necessarily? No, of course not. He is dealing, and then all of a sudden, da baby, little baby, and baby show up in their baby forms, and yeah, they don't really do anything funny with their characters necessarily. They're just basically your stereotypical gang. I wish they would have done some jokes, like maybe they would roll up, and it would be like, brand new Lamborghini, got a cop car, let's go, you're selling on my street corner, let's go, bitch, I'm the baby. No, he doesn't say anything like that. It felt like the entire joke is just, haha, the Dalvin's drug-dealing baby. Let's get some characters who have baby in their name and shrink them down character-wise, but they act completely normal and don't do anything interesting in their plotline, so it's really funny, right?
Going up.
Wait a minute. The baby? Lil baby? And baby? Man, crawl in line, fool. I'm running this shit.
Yeah, no. They start shooting at Dalvin, so he runs away and starts trying to act like a good boy for the rest of the episode so he doesn't get murdered, and it's just very unentertaining. And then Reggie and Junior, they go out to play some pool. They're gonna play some pool, and they're gonna win the rent money so that they could stay in their apartment a little bit longer. It's gonna be absolutely wonderful. Can't get anything better. And honestly, while watching this, I was really hoping it would be good. I always get a little bit excited when there's something like pool, bowling, or any of that, because animation-wise, they can make it really entertaining, because it could be better than real life, where if you're watching like bowling on the TV, you know exactly how it's gonna play out every time. They bowl, they get a strike, they miss, whatever. Here, you could do something really crazy, like they could show the balls like in high definition, like knocking against each other, like the balls just sloshing everywhere all around, just balls in your face. Okay, balls everywhere. They could have done that in a very unique way that would have been a lot more entertaining. You know who else really likes watching pool in an animated way because you can make it look really awesome? My mom. Like, it could have been fun, but they don't do anything interesting. They just sit there and play pool. And it really makes you wonder, what's the point of making this an animated show? Why didn't you just bother to remake the show with live action if you're not going to do anything fun with the animation? It's just them playing pool and nothing fun happens with it. It's boring, and they play pool for like 8 goddamn minutes, and I'm just not about it. I don't like it. So at the same time, Beverly's trying to baptize Dalvin, which doesn't work out because Dalvin runs away. He walks outside and he gets kidnapped by, let's go, bitch, I'm the baby. So he gets kidnapped, so they have to go and try to rescue him. And there's something in this episode that I really dislike. Now listen, I'm Cowlos. I'm the milkman. I'm a cow. I love milk. But I don't really need to necessarily watch an animation of a woman lactating. I don't really need that in my life. I don't need to watch the perspiration happen and for it to be a pivotal moment within the episode. I just personally didn't find it to be that hilarious, as they're all rushing to go and find Dalvin, and they don't know where he is, and then the mom starts lactating, and you just watch her bosom start filling up aggressively with milk in the direction that he is.
Mom, your breasts, are they leaking? They are. Looks like it's the right one. Turn right. Okay.
I didn't like that. It felt cheap, it felt like shock humor, and it felt like they just couldn't write a better joke, and I didn't like it. So then we get to the actual only scene within the episode that I did actually like, and that is the battle against a baby, little baby, and baby. Where Junior takes a pool cue and just starts beating the ever-living shit out of all of them with this pool cue. They get beat by a belt, and if you're just, invested in some childhood trauma, some babies getting beat in malicious, dark ways, then this is probably your cup of tea. If you, had a bit of a rough life and, your parents gave you a good old-fashioned spanking, maybe this wouldn't be for you, but this was the best animated part of the episode, and it was honestly pretty goddamn entertaining to watch grown men just violate these youngsters. That's a horrible sentence, and I don't like it, but it was the only thing in the episode I actually did like. They get Dalvin back, they defeat, let's go! And they end up going home, and Dalvin pulls a gun on the lady who's running the competition to win that best house, whatever nonsense, threatens to shoot her, and yeah, she lets them win, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. I don't know. I just really don't like this show. They add so many different concepts that could go a really interesting way if they would just put a little bit more effort into it. The entire plotline with Dalvin, like, going up against the babies, it would have been a lot more entertaining if instead of, like, selling drugs, they did something very simple, like, he's selling the best pacifiers, he's selling the best milk, he's selling the best formula, he's doing all of that, and DaBaby pulls up like, let's go! I heard what you're selling is 96% pure. And then fucking, I don't know, a baby version of Walter White shows up and he's like, what is this short order cook? Well, you're not flipping hamburgers here, pal. This is formula we're talking about. Like, they could have went a little bit wild with it, but they just make it so cliche, and the fact that the baby, little baby, and baby show up adds overall nothing to the episode because they could have just been grown men and nothing would change. What is the point of making them toddlers if you're not going to do something fun with it? I don't get it. And then the plot of having Pool within the episode is ultimately left to be pointless because, again, you're not adding anything. You're trying to make me care about these characters when there's just nothing good visually going on. It makes me want to fall asleep. I just get bored. Like, oh my god, my son's good at pool. I'm getting so angry. I'm so angry. Just, he's more of a toddler, Reggie, because he just gets mad at his son for being good at pool, and it's just ultimately not that entertaining. I don't give a shit about Gray starving herself because they don't do anything with it aside from making her look at cornbread. Why would I care if you're looking at cornbread, woman? I wouldn't. There's nothing funny about it. I don't care. God, it's just all so stupid. Anyway, if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give this a solid, like a 3 out of 10? No, like a 2 out of 10. There was only really a 2-minute sequence that I actually liked in this episode. So was I having a good time while watching Good Times Black again? No, not really in the slightest. The only thing I liked was a giant chicken just pooping eggs. So that really tells you everything that you need to know about the show. It's really not that good. I was looking up what the former creators were saying about the show, and it kind of feels like a PR type stunt thing, where they're like, oh, make sure that's you. Watch all 10 episodes before forming an opinion, and I feel like that's literally what every single company says, just to justify perhaps renewing it and trying to get more money. It's the same type of concept when Velma came out. People were just watching one episode and then saying it was awful, because it genuinely was, and I'm speaking from a guy who watched all 10 episodes and thought it was one of the worst experiences of my life. You could watch that on the channel right now as my mental state was slowly crumbling. No. It doesn't get better from watching all 10 episodes. Anytime anybody says that you need to watch more episodes to really understand it, unless it's like a 14-season show and it genuinely does get better after like 5 seasons, that is not the case. That is somebody who's just getting fed dollar bills, just trying to make you watch it all so they have a reason to perhaps renew it, or a reason to say that it was in fact profitable. And in this case, it is not by any means profitable. I guarantee you the majority of people could not get through one episode. It's why I'm stopping after just 2 episodes. I don't want to watch anymore. I'm not having a good time. I'm not having fun. I feel like the majority of people who actually had a passion for creating the original show, and even the people who did do some of the good animations for the show and some of the actual good jokes, probably saw it air, saw how it was performing, maybe even watched an episode, and started to just collapse to the floor, get in fetal position, and just go, it's a good time. It's a good time. I know it is. Please, you can't possibly assume that it might be a bad time. Oh, you know, they just start panicking and freaking out, just saying good times repeatedly as they go into a manic episode. That's probably what happened to a lot of people, because this show is just not good in any way. In any conceivable way. There's nothing good about it. It doesn't deserve to be watched more. And frankly, I'm glad that it was canceled. So yeah, that's my thought on it. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I upload all the time. You don't want to miss it. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.